those are the things that you really need to I had briefly done some volunteer work with search and rescue units in Nova Scotia and in Northern Ontario. And there's a lot of fascinating stories that you hear. But one of them that I found the most interesting was they were searching for this young man. He was in such a panic to get out of the woods that he was just a freight train heading out. He didn't know what direction he was going in. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know where he was going. He just went, and he was just so focused on getting out that he actually ran out onto the road in front of a part of the search party that was driving down the road. Ran out onto the road, stopped, looked at the vehicle, and kept running into the woods. They had to chase him to stop him. He didn't even realize that he had crossed a road that would have saved his life. Like I got off the path here about 3 minutes ago just to explore a little bit and get off the same trail that I've been walking every day for a few weeks. And just coming through the basic bush, all of a sudden you come across and see a little bit of an opening. Doesn't look like too much because it's fairly open forest anyways. But then if you look closely, there's a marker. There's a spray paint marker on that tree. There's another red marker on that tree over there. And if you look back this way, orange marker, orange marker, orange marker. So there's some kind of trail going on here. So whenever you're in the woods, even if you're on a trail, always be aware of your surroundings. Always know where you're going. Always don't get lost in your own head. I appreciate my youth and spending so much time in the woods, and not only hunting and fishing to provide for myself and the family, but and even when I wasn't hunting or fishing, just to watch the other animals and see how they behave. And I think that's where I got my love for early mornings, was that when I got up early in the mornings and went out for a walk in the woods, there was so many more animals around. They were all up doing their thing. And then in the afternoon when the sun came out and it was warm, and they hopefully found something to eat, that's when they rested a little bit. Now I have to find the trail again. I'm not sure which way it went. I was going around this circle in that, around that lean-to. So when you lose a trail, you go back to the last known marker. And then from that marker, you try and find the trail again. You never want to wander off too far from your last marker, trying to find the next one. So when you get to a marker, look at that, I found one. So when you get to a marker, you know where the trail is. So I know I came from that direction and I hit this marker. So when I get to this marker now, I want to find the next marker that I go to. And that's also what you do when you're making the trail is, so I make a mark on this tree. So say I just had an axe, I would cut a mark in this tree, and then I would pick another tree off in the distance. So I would pick, say, that tree over there, and then I would walk to that tree and I would make another mark. So between these two trees would be the trail, and I would be able to find my way back and forth between these two trees. So if you do that from all the way along the trail, you'll always be able to find your way back and forth. A couple other things to look for, just since I'm on the topic, other than the obvious trail markers here, the orange strings. If you happen to lose a marker and you want to try and find signs of the trail somewhere in this open woods, so there's other ways to try and look at this log falling on the side here. Like you can see the kind of condition it's in here. But then if you go a little further, you can see this area. It's obvious that there's been some activity, some people stepping off the side of this log. So it's a bit worn in that one spot. So from there you could kind of see that there's a bit of a trail running right through here. And other obvious things like that was kicked up obviously by me because it's still wet. It hasn't dried up at all, so I kicked that over when I came through earlier. Just trying to do some like horror movie effect of the trail when they do the zoom in. I think Jaws was the first one to do that on Roy Schneider's face when he pans back. When you're in the woods, it's always important to be aware of your surroundings. Always use all your senses. Listen, smell, listening especially. Never be the noisiest thing in the woods. Like even if you're not in the woods, know your surroundings and know what you're doing. Listen to what's going on around you. Pay attention. Another thing to try and keep in mind when you're going through trails and areas, or anywhere, even if you're going around town, try and focus on things that stand out, things that are different. So it's okay, remember, make a mental note. That tree going sideways and off to my right was another tree falling off on the side there. So hopefully next time that mental note will be a trigger to let me know that I'm on the right trail and I'm going in the right direction. Because sometimes you need those. And it especially works in the when you're going around a city or a new city. Remember little landmarks, remember parks and statues and or read a street sign. Amazing invention, street signs. Wow.